Hello world. It's January 21st, I think now. That's a cat. um it's January 21st now. And wow. So last time I posted I talked about getting my official rejection letter via email. And I reached out and asked who in the appeals process I could reach out to send additional information to. And the response was, someone will reach out to you within the week. So I'm trying to think positive that someone will. And I wish I didn't have a crappy attitude, and I wish I believed that more. But I'm working on it. Hopefully by the end of the week I'll have heard from somebody. And if not, it's trying again, right? I just keep on calling and leaving messages. And keep on calling and leaving messages. That seems to be mostly what I do these days, besides sleeping and crying and trying to adjust to the med cocktail. Since I've moved to Indiana, I have to find new medical care. Fortunately, I've found it, but due to insurance concerns, even though I was hospitalized, as you all know, even though I was hospitalized, they needed a psychiatric evaluation, which is not done by a psychiatrist, mind you. It's done by a psychologist. And so I had my initial interview with him yesterday. Unfortunately, in the waiting room, there were lots of loud noises and loud music and upset children and upset adults and people upset about their bills, and I had a panic attack in the waiting room. And finally, those were dogs, in case you weren't sure. Probably after that cat you just saw. Anyway, at least I have the animals, right? They provide entertainment and comfort. So I went in for this evaluation, and I'm weeping in a mess, and it was the first meeting, because he has to then send into the insurance after meeting her, yes, I do believe she needs an evaluation. So even though I've had a psychiatric hospital, my old psychiatrist, and my old psychotherapist all say I have PTSD, and my insurance company knows this, in order to get service here in Indiana, the psychologist, my new one, my transitioning one, has to do this eval. So he does this initial one, then sends it off, and if they approve, and he will say, I really think she needs this care, I think she needs blah, 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 blah. And again, bear in mind, I'm already on very serious psychiatric medications. So then I have a 2 to 3 hour analysis with the same psychologist that, according to him, is mostly pen and paper, and they basically tally up a score to determine how sick you are based on how you fill out this paperwork over several hours and some interview aspects. And then I meet with him a week later, so this is all a month-long process, to hear my results. And then, once we have the results, I get to see a psychiatrist for a half hour. This is very interesting to me because the psychiatrist I saw in Chicago, maybe he was a magical unicorn, I don't know, but he would see me for an hour, 45 minutes usually, and then half hour for like medication checkups. But in this case, because the psychologist is doing all the analysis, he gives his findings to the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist will speak with me for a half hour. And apparently in the future it's usually 15 minutes just to check to see how your meds are doing, which I didn't know. And it's interesting. I mean, it's apparently been working for people. I'm just finding it fascinating, the differences from state to state and from doctor to doctor. Like, is that personal preference? Did I happen to have an extra excellent, well, I know I have an extra excellent a psychiatrist in Chicago. He was incredible. Sorry, the loud noises. So I'm working through all this paperwork and appointments, and it'll take a month before I can even get treatment for my PTSD here in Indiana. I have to call my old psychiatrist and doctors. Now, that, first of all, is just hard. You know, I'm working on it, trying to be appreciative that the process has started. But even then, as I have this process started, I'll be getting more and more documentation supporting that I have PTSD, even though, as I read in the letter in another post, in the same paragraph, they contradict themselves, saying your clinical data does support you have PTSD, and then later on saying our finding is that you don't have PTSD. And even the psychologist was just like, don't let go. Just keep fighting it. Everything's designed to make it as hard as possible so that people do give up. So that, because it's still a money machine, right? It's still about money. And it just scares the crap out of me. It just scares me so much that I'm currently too ill to work, but I have to be healthy enough to fight this fight. On the plus side, I'm so grateful to all of you who have been donating. I didn't expect such an outpouring of positivity and support, so thank you very much for that. And I just, please keep me in your positive thoughts and prayers. I know there are a lot of people out there dealing with similar things, and I know that I'm lucky to be able to stay here at my parents' place while I try to fight all of this, but it's still scary. So, thank you all for listening. I hope you are well.